Best wishes and greetings to everybody. Today is Shivaratri in India, and Shivaratri is yet another festive occasion for everyone to come together to celebrate. It's very natural that people look for excuses and reasons to come together. So yet another festivity called Shivaratri is today, and it's a very celebrative evening, and people bring in sacred congregations and revered practices and rituals of offerings to nature. Well, these are some of the ritualistic part of Shivaratri. It's very difficult to deconstruct Shiva and Ratri and manifest it in words, because once it is manifested in words, things become a concept or a rhetoric, and rhetoric and concepts many times is a deterrent to experiences. So the best way to relate to Shiva is that when I'm speaking to you, it's the words, it's finite, and it has a limit. And so as everything, every object in our creation, in our surroundings, in our environment has a limitation, has a shelf life, and is finite. Anything in nature, we look at it, it's finite because it's perceivable. So where does all these things that are finite converge to or cave into, or where is it held, where it is lifted? The entire system of finite existence has to suspend itself into something which is beyond, which is bigger, which is larger, and which is more vast, so that this entire thing that is finite, that can be understood, can be contained. Now that is infinite. So unless it's an experience, it's very difficult to explain which is infinite itself. Well, that is the experience of Shiva, and it is not manifested very easily. It's very difficult to communicate, and therefore there is an element of mystique on Shiva, and perhaps that is why it gives it a flavor of being secretive. And my intrigue is, why not Shiva Prabhadam instead of Shivaratri? Prabhadam is wakefulness, morning. So perhaps Ratri is attributed to Shiva. The day of Shivaratri is because there is a dab, it's interspersed with something secretive, which is unmanifest, which has a mystique around it. It is mysterious, no doubt. It is a journalism beyond words. You see, it can only be indicated. So man has attempted to indicate that these finite objects, finite understandings, finite experiences converge into something infinite, or under some logic, it must have something that holds it together, which is infinite. So how to indicate that there is something infinite? So came some forms, shapes beyond the articulation of words, and there came a form of activity, a body language, offering to a form. Perhaps the most natural form is available as a stone. It perhaps was congregated, the stone, as a deity, which indicated the infinite vastness that could hold the finite. So it is just an indicator, and rituals are held, and chants and prayers and uplifting stories are told to each other, so that on the day of Shivaratri, people has an experience that of infiniteness, which within itself holds the mind itself, because the mind is also at a point is finite. It is held by something beyond the mind, just like attempting to communicate, report, or a journalist attempting to tell a story which is beyond words. He will have to find a communicative method, and there came into existence the forms that was created to as an attempt to communicate that which is just beyond words, that just is just cannot be communicated. So so that is the concept perhaps of Shiva. And in Indian language there's a word called Vashi, which is the syllable reversed from Shiva, the two syllables, if it's reversed, it's Vashi. Vashi means control, controllable. Controllable means something which is finite, is controllable. So if you reverse the syllable from Vashi to Shiva, Shiva is non-controllable, it's beyond the realm of being managed, being understood, being conceptualized, and being controlled. So Vashi is liberation, Vashi is control, and Shiva is liberation. Shiva is freedom from being controlled, that which cannot be controlled, into which we can vent. We can vent the turmoils, the trauma, or the experiences, which if you're burdened with experiences and impressions, then you need to vent it to somewhere. So the place to vent is freedom, and the place to vent to is liberation from burden, and liberation from burden has to be Shiva, which is the reverse of Vashi, which is control, and which is Shiva is liberation, Shiva is freedom. Because you know, theology is there as articulated and has an ability to govern, whereas faith, a faith is beyond definition. So Shiva just cannot be defined. It's faith. It's faith in the infinity. And if you attempt to define Shiva, it just may be incomplete, because faith and definition is mutually exclusive, whereas theology and governance is mutually inclusive. So Shiva is beyond the ambit of being articulated into a dogma, into a compulsion to do things, because Shiva within itself is freedom. So perhaps this is a reason that Shiva is not easily understood and is not articulated, and yet it is represented, indicated into a form, and because the story has to be told, and the story is beyond words, and it is the infinity that contains all the finite experiences. So today is the day that in the year called Shivaratri, where people come together to reinforce this this process, this procedure. So welcome to the festivities. Best wishes, greetings for this year's Shivaratri.